Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. We are doing our best to provide you with our daily episodes. In case it won't be possible due to power outages or missile strikes, don't worry, we'll come back to you as soon as we can. Meanwhile, you can support us by sharing information about the podcast, rating us in the apps, and by subscribing to our Patreon, following the link in the description to this episode. With your support, we can continue our work. My name is Artem, and here is the news. 327 days left the Russian invasion of Ukraine. In his evening video address, President Volodymyr Zelensky informed that the number of victims of Saturday's missile attack at Dnipro rose to 40 people, including 3 children. 39 people, including 6 children, have been rescued from under the rubble. The fate of 25 people who could have been in the house at the time of the attack remains unknown. The president said that this strike at Dnipro, as well as other similar strikes, falls under the jurisdiction of the International Criminal Court, and we will use all available opportunities, both national and international, to ensure that all Russian murderers, everyone who gives and executes orders on missile terror against our people, face legal sentences, stressed Zelensky. He added that this is a fundamental task for Ukraine and for its partners. Earlier, SBU announced that it had identified a group of 6 Russian servicemen responsible for the attack, reports Interfax Ukraine. They all serve in the 52nd Heavy Bomber Aviation Regiment. The president informed that he held a regular meeting of the staff to discuss interaction with Ukraine's partners, counteraction to missile terror, possible scenarios of enemy actions, and Ukraine's response to each of them. The situation in the Donetsk direction was considered separately and in detail. Soledar, Bakhmut, and other cities against which Russia has concentrated its last most prepared forces, said Zelensky. They also reviewed the situation on the southern front and what Russia is preparing. The president stressed that every day and night Ukrainian forces work to reduce the enemy's potential. According to Ukraine's intelligence, Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered the new commander of the Russian forces in Ukraine, Valery Gerasimov, to seize Donbas by March 2023, reports Slovo i Dilo. The intelligence says that this direction will remain Russia's priority. Secretary of the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine, Alexei Danilov, believes that Russia is preparing for an extreme breakthrough in the war against Ukraine, reports Ukrainska Pravda. According to him, recent changes in the military leadership are related to this. Danilov expects this new offensive to start on the anniversary of the war or in March. He added that mobilization in Russia, which did not stop, is a challenge and Ukraine needs to prepare a response to their offensive attempt. The General Staff of Ukraine informs that the enemy does not abandon its intentions to seize the entire Donetsk region, reports Union. It conducts offensive actions in the Bakhmut and Avdiivka directions. Over the past 24 hours, Ukrainian units have repelled attacks in the areas of more than 20 settlements in the Donetsk region. In the Kupiansk, Liman, and Novopavlivka directions, the enemy is trying to improve its tactical position. In the Zaporizhia and Kherson areas, it continues to be on the defensive. Turkish Ombudsman Seref Malkok announced that Ukraine and Russia are working on a major prisoner exchange which could involve up to 1,000 people in total, reports Radio Liberty. According to him, the Ukrainian Human Rights Commissioner handed over a list of 800 people to the Russian side. The Russian Human Rights Commissioner handed over a list of 200 people to her Ukrainian counterpart. Malkok said that sides are considering establishing an Istanbul platform where these issues can be discussed more easily, and they are in the process of setting up this mechanism. He added that Turkey is happy to provide a place for prisoner exchange. Meanwhile, President of Turkey Recep Tayyip Erdogan held a phone conversation with his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin, reports Interfax Ukraine. During the call, they discussed Russia's war against Ukraine as well as grain and ammonia supplies. Turkish President Erdogan again reiterated that Turkey is ready to undertake the task of facilitating and mediating for the establishment of a lasting peace between Russia and Ukraine. The Russian side also informed that they touched upon the issue of exchange of captives, above all injured ones. The Independent informs that since the start of the full-scale Russian invasion in February 2022, President Volodymyr Zelensky survived more than 12 separate attempts on his life by Russian forces, reports Ukrainska Pravda. The information is based on the sources among Ukrainian officials. At the same time, Chris Whipple, author of books about administrations of different US presidents, describes in his book The Fight of His Life inside Joe Biden's White House that at least 2 of those success stories were thanks to US intelligence that provided detailed information to Zelensky's security forces. If you like what we do and would like to tip us, you can now do so directly to our PayPal. Check out the link in the description to this episode for more details. And as usual, you can subscribe to our Patreon. In gratitude for your help, we will give you access to a series of exclusive episodes on wartime life in Ukraine. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.